I'll just eat a slice of bread.
We have
With
popcorn,
popcorn?
too?
No, just plain bread.
With popcorn. But bring the popcorn.
Okay, bring the
You
popcorn.
want the popcorn? Yeah.
Welcome to Fear of Stairs, Desi Films Decoded, the podcast where four friends from different backgrounds unlock the world of Desi cinema. I'm Winnie, the Desi who's never been to India.
Hey, I'm Khilli. I'm from India.
I'm Nicky, and sometimes I'm very disappointed when a piece of media has no boobs.
I agree with that. I'm Adam. I'm American. And today I kind of feel sorry for Nikki for navigating the story. When I was watching this, I was like trying to figure out how you were going to be able to do this.
Yeah, this movie was just... It's a movie. It's a movie. It's a...
Erotic thriller.
that takes place in Bangkok, of all
Yeah.
places. Not that that's important in any way, let's be honest.
Yeah, so Killy, what is this movie? Why'd you pick it?
Oh, yeah. So this film is Murder. It came out on 2004. Came out in 2004. So this was like so when we were going through puberty phase, this was kind of a talk of the town in everywhere, and that was the kind of a era where Bollywood was doing a lot of erotic film for the like big screen. In a way, this film was very controversial when it came out. I think the IMDb rating and the Rotten Tomatoes rating kind of reflects because I've seen like way worse film from Bollywood, and they
Yeah.
have better IMDb rating or Rotten Tomato rating,
Yeah.
even from that era.
So this came out in 2004, and you said that movies around that time were already starting to portray like intimate scenes, makeout scenes. Was that so, or was this kind of like a breakthrough in the sense that it was the first mainstream Bollywood film that explored so much sexuality?
There were films before. This producer guy Mahesh Bhatt, he was known for making those kind of films even in 90s, but there were like one or two, and then it became a different genre, like it didn't normalize having like so much of intimate scene on screen in Bollywood films, because Bollywood films still stayed in its like behind the closed door version, like cleaned and like sanitized version of every human relationship.
It's interesting because
Together, which portraying totally different values and stuff like that.
Like,
Not
were
even
women like
that.
into this movie at all?
Yeah, I didn't have many women friends back then.
Okay, I just
who
wanted to
would-
expose
who
the
would-
truth. That's
who
all. I
would
was a
talk
trick
to
question.
me about sex stuff, though. Yeah.
2004. So again, the iPhone came out in 2006. So like no one had a smartphone yet, and so like I do think this is as erotic as you'll get right before all of a sudden everyone has like a porn machine in their pocket.
Yes.
Like about 10 years after this, you just see porn when you're like 10 on your phone all day, right? So like I think it is an interesting time capsule of like what the erotic scene
Yeah.
was like right until everyone like was exposed to hardcore right away.
I just want to say that you all say it's erotic. I don't think it's erotic at all.
At the time,
mild. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
but let's be honest, okay? I just want to say that in 2001 in Thailand, we had a movie, a period drama called Chandara. It was super erotic, more erotic than whatever is showing in 2004. So when you say that Murder is an erotic film, I was expecting that kind of level of eroticness where there's like nudity and some sensual ice play.
Yeah, Nikki was very disappointed that there was not even a single boob, a single tit that was
I
shown.
really disappointed.
no nipple play,
Yeah.
no feet.
Nothing.
Was that film like a mainstream film or a art house?
It was a mainstream film.
Was there
Okay.
nudity?
There was nudity.
A boob?
Full?
Full on nudity.
Male too?
I think there was like I think the man was wearing a jockstrap. I don't think you can really see it.
So in India, like whatever nudity we saw, like before that, whatever came out was a part of like kind of a art housey kind of films and stuff like that. Like we watched All We Imagine Is Light, like that kind of scenes, or even if it's love scene or something like that, it's kind of a artsy scenes, and then like have like this kind of cheesy story, like a mainstream Bollywood film with songs and stuff like that. It was one of one of the first ones. I mean, there had been before, but so many scenes. No.
Yeah, so it seems like the early 2000s was a horny period of time for everyone because this movie is actually based on the 2001 Hollywood film Unfaithful with Richard Gere.
That makes sense.
And that is a movie based on a French film from like the 1960s, also called Unfaithful, I believe.
Is it the same story? I haven't seen any of the previous
They
films.
said it's the same.
So it's almost the same, but the focus on the husband is more kinda, and then it ends where he kills that guy.
So the husband Oh, well, we're getting into the plot and the spoilers already.
Let's break into it, yeah.
Yeah, Nicky, take us
All right,
away.
so you have Malika Sherwat as
Yes.
our leading lady who gets no respect from anyone in the movie. But that's not funny. Anyways,
It was the best part.
she plays this lonely housewife who she has like a husband and a kid, a son, and I guess her husband, who's like a workaholic, moves to Bangkok, Thailand, and because she's such a housewife, she feels quite lonely and with her needs unmet. Which I gotta add, like if as an Indian woman in Thailand, I think you can find friends. Let's be honest.
Well, that's what. Wait, so what you're saying? She should have just been cheating on her husband the whole time?
I mean, she can have a social life.
Oh,
But her husband is also portrayed as this man who is so emotionally unavailable, cold, stoic, doesn't even want to converse with her. So kind of like you can see why the loneliness is such an important point of the movie plot that like drives her to do all these things that she does later on.
I think also the Bangkok plays a role for her being isolated. I mean, so they didn't dwell in the factor that there is a Indian community here already, like, who lives there for a long time and stuff like that. But I think they just wanted to show that she's in a foreign land where she cannot make friends easily. But also, this kind of talks about this kind of toxic family value of this kind of families, like this rich upper caste Indian families, that it's like the wives is not supposed to go out that often.
Yeah, I
And
can see that.
even if you are moreover, if you're in a foreign land, you're just supposed to. So she says that somewhere in the film I remember that she says like, oh, this is my boundary, like I cannot go beyond
but
that.
she
and
has a
stuff like
part-time
that.
job.
Right. I don't see any elements of like her being trapped or not being allowed to do things. I think she is very much responsible for. They have a son together, Kabir, and well, not really her son, but she's very much responsible for taking care of him, picking up from school, and her husband doesn't really help her much with that. And even though they live in this lavish villa, somehow she doesn't have any help, like a nanny or anything. So it seems like her whole life revolves around the family and the son, basically.
Well, let's talk too. Like, so what's the family situation? Why is it not her son?
Yeah. Later in the movie, we find out that her husband actually was married to her sister Sonia.
Everyone in this movie has a name that starts with S, so
S,
it's very
yeah.
confusing for us and you, the listener.
So the leading lady is named Simran, which is also coincidentally a common Thai Indian name, in my opinion.
Common Punjabi name. Yeah,
Yeah.
very common Punjabi.
So apparently, like, I'm a little hazy on the backstory, but like she sent her sister off somewhere and then she never returned, and so she took like responsibility for their child.
Well, I think it's given that like she bought her sister a plane ticket, and I assume there was an accident or something, right? So like
Oh,
was
her
it?
sister is dead.
I think the plane
basically.
crashed.
Right. They didn't really get into it, but you kind of tell that her sister is dead.
The sister was actually one of the 9/11 hijackers.
So then she apparently, okay, I was gonna say steal, but like not like assumes the wife role of the family. Which I want to ask, Winnie, is that something you want to do? Like save your sister? or something?
Absolutely, right? Self-sacrificing, that's what makes a woman nice, and that's the epitome of a good woman.
I have a question about this, Khilli. If a woman has like a boyfriend and then her sister dies and leaves her kid and her husband, does the woman have to leave her boyfriend for this husband?
I'm not a woman.
You
I
don't
didn't know
have to
that.
do anything. There's no like codified rules, or it's just like how much responsibility and obligation you feel as a woman to put the betterment of a child ahead of you. And
But
I
the
think
child doesn't need her to fuck the husband to take care of him.
But if you want like a nuclear family, which most Indian families would strive towards, then that you would want to kind of preserve the family unit as such.
It's a lot. preserving the family unit is a big theme in this movie. right?
Exactly,
It's a
exactly.
very huge.
So yeah, the reason, Winnie, I said the politics I think are actually like all right is they give every leniency to this woman. Like I feel like if this was an American film, it'd be like this bitch.
What are you talking about? You kind of see how her actions lead to such horrible consequences, like near imprisonment, murder.
But they
near-
excuse her
They
completely.
excuse her
Even
at the
even
end.
the
Yeah.
even the officer is like, I don't blame you at all. Like and the husband's like, you're right.
my fault.
It's
She-
my fault.
her-
Like and even
her
Sonny's
husband
like,
beats her at one point. I feel like this movie, you see two sides. You see her desire, she's driving towards that, but you definitely see the consequences and how she's punished for it.
but they make the guys look bad.
Yes.
The movie is saying this woman is like kind of faultless and these guys are all
Yes.
bad and she is fine. And like her desires are like valid and like because of the situation she was in, like it's very forgiving of her.
I think because the guy that she ended up having an affair with was so extreme in his actions and it led to like, like stalking and murder and all, it kind of almost is a warning sign to women like, hey, even if you're lonely, if your husband's not emotionally available, this is what could happen if you go and pursue something that is more fiery and passionate. It's going to blow up in this way. So I think it serves as a warning sign of it's not worth it.
You have a scene where her like work colleague warns her of that.
Yeah.
That we're calling you so funny. She's like, I'm a veteran cheater.
Yeah,
And let me tell you why I don't think this is a good idea.
I think it's a cautionary tale, but not vilifying her for like going having sex with someone who is not her husband. Like she's not vilified for that, but it's like, oh, poor woman, don't do that, please. It's gonna get worse. Kind of cautionary tale.
And I think the plot of like that being her sister's kid and her entering this marriage more as a self-sacrificing thing than out of love kind of helps vilify her less, like it takes away some of the onus on her actions of she's already
Yes.
she's already sacrificing. So like she's just trying to find a bit of happiness now. You see her in less of a nasty wife
Yes.
mode, right? And more of just a woman who's trying to have it all, who's trying to be a good mother, but still wants to be happy and doesn't want to like subscribe to a lonely, emotionally cold husband, which is fair.
All of that being said, the movie begins with her being chased through like the business district, Cheongnan-si.
Cheongnan-si
That's where
BTS.
me and Winnie our work is. I used to work there,
Mm-hmm.
but you get to see like Dusitani in its original glory, which I thought was very interesting. Anyway, that doesn't matter. She's being chased through by a bunch of Thai policemen whose chief is an Indian man. Like I'm gonna have to say it, man. That it's no way possible. It's like a Thai man saying that Wakanda can't be real. I'm just kidding.
Sydney and I disagree on this. He's Thai Indian. I think it's interesting that they portrayed this man as a Thai Indian character.
Yeah, but like, let's be honest. When was the last time you've seen a police chief, a Thai Indian police chief? Never
Absolutely
in
not.
my life.
I think we have
exactly.
Thai Indian governor now, so like Thai Indians are just entering politics, but definitely not on the police level.
This does the same thing as Dostana, where like they live in Indian world in another
Yes.
country.
Yes.
Like they only interact with other Indians. Like the police is for some reason Indian, and like they live in that bubble.
But this actor who plays the police chief, like he's just a Indian actor, right? But they in the movie they portray him as Sikh, as Namdari specifically. So he's wearing like the white what do you call it? Patka. I don't know what the term. It's called like kind of like white patka turban. So he's like portrayed as a Namdari because that is very much like prominent in the Thai Indian community out here. There's a lot of Sikhs, there's Namdari. So I think like they tried to make it a little bit more feasible in that way.
Yeah, that Indian world thing, like in a foreign land, it's getting less day by day as subtitling is like more prevalent and more accessible to people. But back in the day, I think we were discussing during what was that? Dostana, right? That is, it's mostly because like they don't want to include like other languages apart from Hindi at all in the film. Like there are like few dialogues here, like when he's explaining something to the police chief at the end, that he says in English, but otherwise like yeah. So keep every dialogue in Hindi. Yeah, you have to bring like Indian characters here. Yeah, I think that's the reason. Most
Yeah,
of the
they all
time.
live in Bangkok, but there's really no reason. They don't use the setting or anything. It's just it could have been in India.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's chased by a bunch of policemen, and then they just bring her into interrogation because she's been accused of murder, hence the title.
Dun dun dun.
And I guess the part of the whole movie is told in like 90% of the movie is told in through flashbacks.
False flashback.
False flashbacks. Like we get to see from her point of from Simran's point of view. So yeah, she has husband and son, and then one day during a rainy day, she just happens to meet this man. Like there's like you get to see this magical connection. And I'll also say that street is not Bangkok. I am like 90% sure it's Pattaya. Where so like this man that she meets, it's Sunny. And at first we're not so clear who it is. Like it's just they just have this like magical connection, and the first thing he says like, "Do you want to come up to my place?"
I was so blown away. I was like, "There's no way she says yes. This is crazy." They meet like on the street in front of a car. He's like standing there in the rain, staring at her. The car is like honking because he won't get the fuck out of the way, and he's like blocking traffic. And then he's like, "Hey, it's raining. Come to my room." And she's like, "No." And then she goes, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this person?"
Yeah, like she just goes up to his room, and it's like a very like creepy, dingy ass hallway. And then like she goes inside, and like he asks her to like go change and everything. And then one of the things that gets really confusing from the start is like she was asking him questions like, how long have you been here and or whatever. And then in the first of many instances in this movie, he just yells at her like, why don't you just ask me how long I've been in jail? And it's like, I don't really know what that was. At first I was a little taken aback, like why is this stranger like berating her for something that she should have known or something. But then we find out that this guy was like her ex-boyfriend. So it's like Sunny is her ex-boyfriend in college, I'm assuming. And apparently in the past he was like beating people up because they were assaulting her. And he was like, I don't like it when people are touching you. And then before like the police take him away, he was saying like, oh, I love you. But she never says I love you back. So yeah, he ends up in jail, and
It's like a creepy incel in college.
Yeah.
He's very controlling.
Yeah.
Are they going out? They are. They're
They
going
are
out.
going
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
They
yeah.
have like
Right.
Sorry.
He's not incel. He's just like a
He's
over
fucking a lot,
possessive.
actually. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
He's just very jealous. Some guy assaults her. He protects her, beats her too much.
he was in the cell.
An incel in the cell. Whoa.
We were.
So yeah, they reconnect, and then you get this hint that they're like there's a spark going on, and she goes home. She goes back home, and then we learn that her husband's a jerkwad. He's like this like guy who never pays attention, and she was telling him like she's met an old friend, and he didn't give a shit. Like he has to look for some stupid ass file or whatever.
Goddamn folder. I
This-
need the folder.
Goddamn folder. And then like he was like he calls her name by mistake. He calls her Sonia instead of Simran, and it's not at first to us it's unclear what that name means, but that's the name of her sister, as we mentioned. And yeah, you get to see their whole relationship problems, right? And then
And one important part, we also find out Sunny is in Bangkok to DJ.
At a club called Moonlight.
Moonlight. I was like, I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't remember that club called Moonlight.
He says this is the club where I compose my songs. So we're supposed to believe he like makes songs and then plays them, but he does stay in the nicest apartment I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like the building's dingy, but he's like in a 2-level loft and stuff.
Yes.
For this club no one's ever heard of, and like they brought him all the way from India.
Also, what's interesting is that he said he was out of jail a year and a half ago, right? And he didn't contact Simran.
Not a year
So,
and a half ago. He was only in jail for a year and a half.
Hmm.
So like that's
Oh.
why it's even weirder. He wasn't even gone for that long, and she should have known he was out, but she just after her sister brings down the trade center, she marries the husband, and then really quickly, I guess.
I think that happens to the college romance. Like after you graduate from there, you don't like keep in touch or
But
something
don't
like
you think
that.
the guy that like your ex-boyfriend that went to jail for trying to protect you, you think when he would come out or something?
Yeah, that's the only scene that this Simran committed. Not keeping in touch with her estranged
Keep
boyfriend.
in touch with your exes that go to jail
Yes.
and then go to their apartments after bumping into them
instantly.
instantly.
And I think, and we can all agree, he went to Bangkok for her, right?
Yes.
Right? Like, he
You
planned
think so?
this?
I feel like he was living there. He didn't reach out. They just bumped into each other, which also
Yeah.
questions like how obsessed he is actually about her. It seems to just start when they meet again.
I
Yeah.
feel like he specifically moved to Bangkok because he knew she was there.
No, because he gave her the choice of coming to into his apartment, if she just turned around and didn't go like follow him the first day, I don't think he would have kept pursuing her.
Planned that. knew
He
she was gonna
knows
come in.
her. But honestly, like, how long did he say that he was working in Bangkok?
A couple years.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
why didn't he like make a move
He
before?
was waiting on that street for her to come for years. He was just standing there in the rain for years until she finally saw her, and then he ran into her. And then his plan came in motion. It had to be in front of his apartment.
Keeping extra warm clothes at home
Yeah,
to
he had-
for a change.
He had the script memorized. Would you want to come back up to my place?
I'll just say nothing and stare at her.
And he's a bit of a womanizer too, right? Like this, Simran is not the only woman in his life.
That's
Yeah.
that's a twist that we'll find out later. But yes, they we know Simran's situation. So then she sparks up a affair with Sunny. You get like these long extended scenes where they're like just having fun. I mean, like at one point he rolls up in his motorcycle. I think it's like Siam area. He rolls up on the footpath like a boss, and then like she gets on. And I think it's so funny in that scene because you see all these Thai bystanders watching this Indian man roll up. I don't know. I think that's pretty funny.
It has the montage where they're like having sex in different places, and they keep having sex outside. So they'll like be on like which is crazy because especially Bangkok, like if you go on a rooftop with just the sun out, like you will die.
Yeah.
Like that is so uncomfortable and so hot. But like, and they're like where all the air cons are stationed outside, so it's like double hot because it's all blowing on you, and they're like fucking out there in the hot daylight. They're having sex like one level above the cars on like a balcony with like no barrier, and if you're on like the BTS level, you could just see two people
They
naked,
wanna-
kind of hanging out.
They want to smell their sweaty armpits.
I was just saying
They have
would've-
a long scene where they smell each other's sweaty armpits. They go to a Pattaya hotel for days, even though like she only sees him like when her kid's in school somehow.
Yeah.
they were up on like these water towers on the roof of a building, and it was so funny when I saw that scene. I was reading the news just earlier this week, and apparently a man went missing, and the police found him inside a water tower. And all I could think about is that if they were making out, what if there was a body there? I don't know. That's all. I
Oh
could
my
think about.
goodness! Well, it's called murder.
That's went dark pretty quick.
Did you guys see that documentary about that woman that did that too? Remember, like there
It's
was
like
the
the-
security footage of her in the elevator. And
Yeah.
She looks crazy, and then they found her in the water tank, and no one could figure it out.
It was it's like a cold case, right? Like no one figured
Oh,
it
yeah,
out.
yeah,
That's
I
a
know
creepy
about it.
story.
It's
This is
super creepy, but it
that's really
turns out
creepy.
she just fell in it. But she was having like a psychotic break.
Didn't in Hangover also the guy was on the rooftop near the water tank or
Oh,
somewhere
yeah,
for the whole time?
He woke up there on
Yeah,
the
for
rooftop.
The whole
with the
time
match-
they were looking for him.
Just to say, that's not too weird. Like in my high school, we lived next to a building that had a rooftop that a lot of students went to after school to do stuff with their
He has
their
an
boyfriend
apartment.
girlfriend.
Sonny lives indoors. You guys had to do that.
Right.
he
Was
wanted.
that hot as hell? Winnie, tell me from first-hand experience, how bad was it?
When you're like a horny teenager, it doesn't really matter, right?
it's
But
so
that's like
hot.
your only option.
It's like PE day, and you're wearing your PE clothes, and everyone's all smelly and stuff.
He wanted change of place, change of settings
Yeah.
all the time.
I think it adds to the erotic element, like voyeurism. It's kind of
And then you
part
like
of
you're
the
climbing
fun.
all the way to this balcony, and you're like drinking there, and you have to like climb all the way down naked and shit.
So while all those moments were portrayed as romantic, there are some scenes that I just can't help but feel like it's super rapey, like the belly button scene, like when.
Well, no, but that's not. He's just going down on her, and it's like the first time anyone's gone down on her, and her belly is
Well, it-
trembling.
well,
was
he
trying
keeps
to
saying
open up her
no.
legs, and she was like, "It's not right, Sonny. It's not right."
But her belly is like shaking. I've never seen anything like that. Like I've never seen a woman that excited by a guy just like being near her legs or something.
It's a really large belly.
I think when she says saying no, it's her like the
Khilli,
culture.
please
Culture.
be very tread carefully.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, I mean, we gradually find out that Sunny is indeed very rapey person after all.
But from the
Like,
very beginning, you see that he's not really respecting her boundaries because obviously
yeah.
she still has feelings. She's attracted to him, and she says no, it's not right. But he doesn't stop. He just keeps going, and then physically she gives in, right? So it's already a disrespect
Yeah.
of boundaries from the
I
get
just-
go.
Yeah.
But she comes back.
I just want to interject with some cultural thing from my experience. Like in Thai series, right? They would they would always have this like relationship dynamic where the man would have his way with the woman, and the woman would be like, it's basically raping, but like as they get into it, she falls for him. It's like a common Thai series plotline, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's other
No,
cultures.
They call it the slap and kiss phenomenon in Thailand.
that's it.
It's very
So
popular.
That this moment right here reminded me of that.
I think that has been a stereotype in Indian like mainstream things as well, where like, oh, so that's why this whole like like abusive rape cases also coming from, because in like the culture also portrays like that women's no is not no, they are just pushing you because that's what they're supposed to do, but you have to find a way to get it done, like that. And also like it puts puts an idea of a woman into man's head that like, okay, so women saying no means they want it, but they're just shy to have it. So that's the stereotype, and they're also playing in the stereotype.
Just to be fair, like that's Harrison Ford's entire career as well. It's in America too.
Okay.
Like, in Indiana Jones and like in Blade Runner stuff, he just like throws people like against the wall and makes out with them, and then they like it. Like, so it's not like America was like great at this. But again, she's not traumatized. She loves it and comes back. And I'm not like excusing him, but I'm just saying like, she does like Sonny and likes having sex with him.
Yeah,
she voluntarily comes back all the time.
The films gives her a lot of agency in that sense.
A ton.
Yes.
It's all her decisions. Like, she decides to go in the apartment. She makes all these calls to keep visiting him, and that's good. Like, it's because they're acknowledging that she likes sex, which I think is cool, actually.
But what's not cool
Is that true? By the way, Winnie, do women like sex?
No, we
That's what I
just
thought. Okay,
completely
go on.
unpleasurable because men don't know how to. Yeah.
What's not cool though is that eventually her son has a fever, and then she decides
It's always these bitch kids in these movies.
Yeah, I want to get rid of the kids.
They're always sick and ruining relationships.
As we all know, she gotta stay with the family, stay for the kid, right? And then like you get this like moment where like Sonny calls her up and says, why aren't you here? And then she says she has to be with her family, and then he like, I don't know how to say this, but like he like gaslights her into thinking like it's always about your husband and your son. What about me? And he like punches, like there's a scene where he like punches like the window pane, and then like a part of the window pane comes down, and then he punches it again. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, that was amazing.
It's so stupid.
He also said, he's like, why can't I see you at least once every 24
Yeah.
hours?
And-
I'm like, that's a lot.
And then he says, "I'm addicted to you." He literally says that.
Once every 24 hours is a really, like, that's a lot.
That was quite a pivotal scene though, because you see her face just completely fall when she has the phone, right? When I think that's the realization that a lot of women have probably experienced at least once in their lifetimes, when they realize what a complete nutcase they just.
Like, this is too far.
Yeah, because I think like she knew Sonny was very, but she probably didn't expect it to get to that level, and you see that realization dawn on her, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling.
There's that quote from, there's that famous quote that men are afraid of women laughing at them and women are afraid of men killing them.
Yeah, touche.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It sucks when you realize that every time.
And so because she can't go out and meet Sonny, what does Sonny do? Fucking pretends to be a bystander, and then walks into their home, tells her husband that, hey, we're friends.
No, he befriends the husband on the street and comes back home, and then say like, oh, nice to meet you, like does that whole charade of to his to Simran, and then
and it was very uncomfortable because like he was looking for the toilet, so the husband was like, all right, Simran, can you just take him to the toilet? And then he fucking like tries to eat her face, and it's like
Yeah, we get another rapey scene.
it's like
he takes her like down to like the maid bathroom and then like tries to like make out with her.
it's like a straight out of a Brazzers porn scene where like the unsuspecting cuck is like nearby, and like they're just about to do it.
He wanted to see them. He was disappointed when he came downstairs and they weren't making out. He wanted to catch them doing that.
But that's when you see like her agency kind of breaking down a little bit, because that's probably the first scene where she really doesn't want to. Her husband is right up there, and she's just trying to push him off, but she has to give in also halfway
Yeah.
through.
I'm
I don't
glad
want to get caught.
I'm glad you realized that, Winnie, because at that very moment I was like, this is not erotic. They told me it was gonna be an erotic film, but instead it was like all rapey and everything, and I'm like, damn it, I had tissues ready, but like I can't do it, man.
Using tissues to wipe my tears
my
instead
tears,
now.
Now I just feel
Just to
bad
be
for
clear,
her.
it's for tears, for tears.
Yeah, I started getting angry.
It's 90% rapey and like 0% boobs. It's not erotic at all. Yeah.
You get that scene where like Simran's best friend like warns her like, hey, cheating leads down a path of like unhappiness and yada yada yada.
She has a coworker that like cheats all the time, I guess, and has like deep experience cheating and is like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I've done it before. It's not worth it. Just get a vibrator.
So while that was happening, like her husband, God, his name eludes me.
Sudhir?
Sudhir, yeah. He hires a private investigator.
Who? Oh, can I? He looks like a racist cartoon of what would be on like a pizza box.
Jeez,
He looks
that's
like a
very
racist
specific.
Italian stereotype. He looks like the like Luigi and Chuck E. Cheese with the big mustache. He's like a Indian Italian man.
So yeah, so he hires faux Italian man to investigate on whether Simran is cheating, and then like you get this scene where like Simran has to drop her kid off at school, and when she drops her kid off to school, like that's when Sunny comes in, and then they have a moment together. And what I can only assume, oh yeah, he was like rubbing her leg with his like stinky ass sock. This is very disgusting, man. Anyway, he literally took Simran back to his place for like a sesh, and like in what has got to be like a bad parent of the year award, she realizes that, oh shit, I gotta go pick up my kid at school.
They
So
fuck like for like 10 hours or something.
It
Because
looks
cause she drops him off, so then they're fucking until he's like 3 hours after school has passed.
yeah. And that's when she realized, oh my god, it's affecting my family. The consequences of she has this epiphany. Consequences of her actions lead to
Because for a woman, you have to choose orgasm or family.
Indian
tough
women,
choice.
yeah.
Yeah.
For the detective, his photography skills are like impeccable. Like the photo he takes, like where he was rubbing her legs under the table. That photo was like so good. Like I'm
Well,
joking.
wouldn't it
yeah.
be
It
cool,
is
by the way,
sarcastic.
if like you did like what's that? Pokemon Snap, but you're like Detective Pikachu trying to find Pokemon cheating on each other. Like they hire you as Detective Pikachu to like find if their spouse is cheating and stuff. So like you just go around on the boats filming Pokemon cheating on each other to send to them.
wearing stinky socks.
Yeah.
So anyway, she realizes that, I forgot to pick up my kid because I was too horny. So she decides to like end things with Sunny. And then what does she find? As Winnie mentioned earlier, she sees that Sunny has a girlfriend. Dun dun dun, like twist.
It's weird.
It was a little out of left field, but I guess it's trying to drive the point home that he's a fucking scumbag. I guess.
Is it his wife?
They say his girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
just a
his
girlfriend.
wife.
Because he's like picking her up and carrying her around and stuff, and she knows everything about her, but I can't figure out like if she lives with him or not.
I don't think she lives with him, but like they have a relationship where he actually shared the story of like him screwing this the Simran, so she knows that's why. But like she loves him, he's just using her for something.
Yeah, and she knows that he's obsessed with Simran.
Yeah. So that's a very
It's a lot of cuts in
interesting
this movie.
Yeah, very interesting dynamic.
And so, like, when she finds that out, she realizes, oh, wow, Simran blames herself that she's a whore, even though the subtitles say slut. I don't know if you noticed that, but anyway. And, she wants to end with Sunny, and then what does Sunny do? He, tries to have his way with her in the kitchen. And it was like the most uncomfortable scene. But then you get this moment where she grabs a knife, and it is implied that she murders him.
That's what she said to the police investigator in her. Yeah.
Supposedly. But then I guess we have this another big plot twist that the police chief calls her out for lying, because what they heard is that her husband murdered Sunny and then we get to see. I'm assuming there was this is an intermission part, but we get to see that yeah, Sudhir murdered him. We learn that we get to see his point of view. He basically knew all along that Simran was cheating, and then he was trying to go to Bombay to make sure that she had all the free time in the world to do whatever she wants, and then the private investigator finds out and everything. So we learn that she, when with the knife, I'm assuming she brings out the knife but doesn't do anything with it.
I think the knife is the fake part. I
It's
just
the-
don't think she ever touched the knife.
But then we see her like disposing of the knife.
Nah, I don't fucking know.
I don't get
The
it.
movie doesn't make that
It's
much
not
sense.
very clear, but what is clear is that she leaves Sunny's place all shame, in a shame, and that's when Sudhir goes into his Sunny's place, and then they have like this confrontation, and Sunny in his most psychotic moment yet is like he taunts Sudhir about how, like, you know, he fulfills all of Simran's needs, and points out that like you can smell his bed for her scent, and in the most ultimate humiliation move, he keeps her panties in like this box and then throws it at his face. Of course, that could break a man, right? And
Well, no, yeah. So we watched this all together to rewind. It's not it's implied that she gives him her panties every single time they're together.
Or they're from the university.
No. He said she gives me her panties always.
that's what the subtitle said.
So like he has a box full of her. So every single time she fucks him, she's like, "Here's my panties." And I guess like that's expensive, I would think too, because that's not cheap to like buy new panties every single. Because women panties are expensive.
But maybe that's why he's living in such a nice apartment despite being only a DJ. Maybe he's selling these panties on eBay, racking
Oh.
up
He
quite
should
a
have,
bit
like,
of
huge
funds.
trash bag full of them at this point. So like I wouldn't be surprised if like that is paying his rent.
Dumb. So yeah, he murdered. So okay, it breaks Sudhir, and a long story short, he murders him, and it's like, man, Khilli, I gotta admit, like these fight scenes, man. I don't know what's up with Bollywood or Indian cinema, but like some of the choreography is just so
It's bad.
It's bad. Like the action, it's not convincing. All the punch, and like Sudhir likes. There's this move that Sudhir likes to do that we get to see. He's like he likes to punch Sunny around the stomach. Like, there's a lot of tummy shots. I don't know. Anyway, so the next outrageous thing is that he wraps Sunny's body in a carpet, and then we get like this very hilarious scene where he drags the body out into the hallway and passes like a bunch of like bystanders who notices that the big roll of carpet he's dragging has left a shoe. And then they ask him, "Is this your shoe?" And he's like, "No." So they just put the shoe on the fucking hallway. I don't know. It's just so stupid.
So imagine this: a guy is dragging a carpet rolled up in the shape of a body, and there's like feet sticking out, and there's one shoe that's on the ground, and they ask if it's his shoe, and he is wearing both shoes as he's dragging this carpet. So they're like, "Oh, I guess it's not your third shoe. Oh well." They just put it there.
And then and it doesn't stop there. He goes out onto the street and then drags the body on the street out in broad daylight.
Throughout Bangkok.
Throughout
He's just
Bangkok.
dragging a dead body through Bangkok.
I'm assuming it's Pattaya. Maybe it's normal in Pattaya. I don't know. So he stuffs the body.
He gets
in the
help. They like come and help him lift up the dead body and put it in the car.
It's just another death. Some man fell off the building. Anyway, so he stuffs the body in the trunk, and then buries the body near their home, near his home.
Well, like a weird park
It's
forest
a
thing.
forest thing. I don't remember Bangkok.
Chakriti
Yeah,
Park.
that's what I was thinking. I wrote down in my notes, like, is this Lumpini Park where he's like
Yeah,
burying
right?
this body?
It's like you don't have a lot of like big forested green spaces.
No. That's the Indian part. They for sure like probably filmed that in India and like just
Chakriti Park.
So of course, naturally, that gets the police's attention.
sorry, it's in like the sand, like the kid area, like the sandbox. He's like he just buries he like digs a hole in the sand and buries his body with all these kids there.
That's where his file's missing.
Oh, I found it.
So that gets the police's attention, and then they confronted Simran. Simran notices that, okay, maybe my husband has committed murder. And then like we get this like moment of like confrontation between the two where he admits to Simran that, I knew it all along. And then while that was happening, like a fucking heavy loader tractor just crashes into their home.
Wait, he slaps her.
Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah,
missed the
that's it.
beating scene.
The beating
He
scene.
slaps
And
her.
then says, "I wish I killed you instead."
Sunny was a rapey guy, and her husband is an abusive piece of shit. So she's having it both ways.
And he slaps her multiple times,
Yeah.
right? Like punches her right across the face.
Yeah, he keeps saying, "I wish you were on United
Yeah.
91 instead of my wife."
And that's when he also admits to her that he killed Sunny, but then in the way of saying, "Yeah, I killed him, but I should have killed you instead."
That makes her fall in love with him.
Right, and then you see the
And then
scene
after
where he's like
that-
sitting on the steps
Like,
and
"You're right,
he's
I love you."
angry, and she goes to him and tries to like apologize. Like you can see that in this scene, she is not upset at all about the fact that she just got slapped by her husband. She
Yeah.
She's honestly used to this. by the
Right,
time-
right.
That's what happens if your first lover is an abusive piece of shit.
yeah,
Like,
the whole
you
time.
get it like as a no, like that's normal.
Yeah.
They go through
That's
these
a little too
emotions
weird.
where like you can see she's like, "Yeah, I deserve this. I was not a good woman. Can you please forgive me?" And he still doesn't forgive her. So apparently that's a very
Yeah, it's a very I mean, this movie is making me uncomfortable. I don't understand how you guys like this.
I'll explain later. So the tractor
So, yeah.
bashes into their room.
There's a tractor that rams into the room, drops the carpet without the body, as a sign of like, I know what you did last summer kind of thing.
But like, what a way to show that. Like, why not just leave the carpet in the front door? Because then whoever's driving that tractor then has to like jump out and run away. Like, wouldn't they be like, "Who's that guy that just like left the tractor?" Like, just leave it and hide.
It's a pretty wild series of events, but
Also, that means they're driving the tractor through the city, right? Like, so they go to the park, get the carpet out, and then they're just driving along Bangkok again with like this body getting held by the tractor to go to this house.
yeah. So when that happened, right? Like, what does Simran suggest? She suggests that her husband should leave the country. Yeah, that's like the best solution right there.
Just run.
And just run. And like I think it's kind of funny because the movie is made in 2004, right? They go to Dongmueang Airport because one of whom never existed back then.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
They have to fly to they're flying back to India in Dongmueang. That's a nice little piece of history for me. But instead of like, him going through with the plan, he catches wind that she was like being chased by the cops. So that's when he decides to go back, and it goes back to the present day where he confesses that, hey, he did the murder.
But
So-
also,
Train of thought.
this whole act of her pushing him to go back to India with Kabir also kind of makes him fall in love with her a little bit. You see this playing out like in the background as all this is coming along, where he's starting to realize that he feels like a stronger man with her by her side.
Yeah.
And
then he actually did say, like, we get this like really nice touching moment, I guess, where he like tells her, "It's not your fault. I'm the one that caused it,
Right.
being unattentive.
I never
and-
cared for your feelings. So
Yeah.
you see that self-reflection.
That's why I like this movie.
It's
He-
very mature.
He
in a way,
always
I guess.
had reason to fall in love with her. She was caring, she was sexy, she was everything. But I never realized how come she fallen in love with that piece of shit guy. That's the
the
biggest
husband?
mystery. Yeah.
I don't think she is in love with him necessarily. She's doing it out of duty, right? Like to
No, no,
be
at
the
the
mother.
beginning, yes, but towards the end, like it's kind of shown that like they are in love now
well,
and together.
of course, by the end of the movie, she'll fall in love with him because she just dealt with Sunny, right? Like when you realize that
better
that kind
than
of
that.
man
It's true.
exists, yeah, you run back into the arms of the man who slaps you. At least he's not gonna kill you
Right.
and rape you.
He's a nice guy in this scenario.
Pick your poison, ladies.
Yeah.
I would have liked both of them to die. But anyway, yeah.
If I was him, even though she's hot and stuff, like I would feel so weird fucking my dead wife's sister. No matter how hot or caring she is, I would not be into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would have ended there, He admitted, he goes to jail, but no, we need to have like a very Bollywood twist that we're like, hang on, that doesn't explain where the body went.
Yeah, the Indian police is like, wait a second, actually, we didn't solve shit because there's no body.
And then what did we find out? Sonny was alive the whole time.
Dun, dun,
It
dun.
was like, I think this is the moment where it's like a jump the shark moment, where to me, where it's like,
So go back in time. He's like faking dead the whole time he's getting dragged around Bangkok. When they're like asking about his shoe, he's like listening to that.
yeah,
Like he's just getting dragged around like alive. Why? Just get out.
yeah.
Just run. Beat him up.
They find this out because like they arrested like Sonny's girlfriend, right? And then she said that, oh, I saw him dragging the body, so I followed him. And then there's a moment where like Sudhir like walks away from the car in a parking lot, and then like she just goes up to the trunk of his car, and then it just opens. And that's when
He's just like chilling, drinking
No,
tea.
there's a bloody hand sticking out. See?
and then Sonny was like, we gotta keep up the charade because like
We're gonna blackmail him.
blackmail him, and he's gonna pay we're gonna get all the money, and then we can live a happy life. I don't know.
And Sunny's plan is also to get Sudhir into prison, right? Make it look like he
Oh.
killed Sunny so that Sunny could then be with Simran.
So, but he's telling this girl, like, look, if you take these photos and blackmail him, then I will leave you. So, like, this is also I
Exactly.
can be with this other girl. And she's like,
Exactly.
okay, cool.
It's
I
like
can't wait to get broken
Love.
up with.
Infatuation.
Yeah.
it's like the second girl makes the plot a little kooky, I guess.
Sonny's really good at sex, is what the movie's trying to like convey to you. Like
Crazier.
Like these chicks go crazy over his dick, man. Like that's all they're. I mean, that's all I'm understanding from this.
So yeah, that's what happened. He's alive, and he shows up at Simran's home, and again he tries to like get all like murdery and rapey, and then like we get like this really like thriller-esque scene where she's like trying to run away from him in the rain, and then the police catches wind of it. Sudhir in jail hears of it. He fucking jumps out of the police station window. I don't know if you remember that. He like jumps out like and then runs away from the
And police are like firing shots
Firing
at him and he's
shots.
just running.
So stupid.
None of the
He's
shots.
like a methed out Superman at this point, by the way.
He did remind me of Clark Kent when he
does.
was
He totally
yeah,
does.
checks out.
So yeah, we're at the and so this is like the finale, the climax. They're like end up in some sort of like hedge maze.
Which
yeah,
does not exist. Does not exist in Bangkok.
They're
We
running
don't-
around and it's like a fucking hedge maze that you'd find like a Halloween place. I've never seen this anywhere in Thailand. And they're like just stuck in this maze.
That's Sukumbit, bro.
It's like the Sukhumvit hedge. It's the Sukhumvit hedge maze. Haven't you guys heard?
Sorry I'm late. I was stuck in the hedge maze again. I couldn't find my way out. That one that's in the middle of the sidewalk. I always get lost in there.
And then yeah, to make a long story short, they get stuck in this hedge maze. The three main characters, Sudhir and Sunny gets into a
In
fight.
the rain. It's
So-
kind of like The Shining, actually.
It
I think
really
hedge
is,
maze,
yeah. Sudhir wins, and then he embraces Simran. Not before like Sunny comes back with a rake, and then that's when the police chief comes in and shoots him to death.
Like
and
through the hedge maze.
through the hedge, like they can
Like
find
somehow he's like running around this maze and missing dead ends and then shoots him right in time. Yeah.
It's also really funny because we have the scene where Sunny like gets up and he sees the two of them hugging and he just turns around and walks away and they think that's the end. They're like, well, this guy just tried to ruin our lives, but now we can just keep hugging. He's gone. Danger is gone. There's no way he'll show up again with the rake.
He
Like,
doesn't seem crazy.
yeah, right? It seems like a reasonable guy. He sees now we're in love. He'll leave us
He
alone.
understands we're married, right?
Firing 3 shots to the like a man who doesn't have a gun, it's like so unnecessarily overwhelming. Like, why are you shooting like 3?
Like-
he
like
had a
towards Sunny,
hoe.
he had-
He had a hoe. Like that's dangerous as shit.
You mean when Sunny was gonna hit them with the rake and the police
Yeah,
fight?
police fires like 3 fucking shots. Like when he's like falling down, like just fucking fire a shot to his hand or something. Like, why are you killing people like left and right?
Why are
like
you
that?
killing the rapist, police? Save the rapist.
The police doesn't know what's happening. Like
The
police.
is killing himself.
But police have enough
before
context now.
killing someone needs a proper investigation. Now you just have like details from 2
He saw
people.
him attack them with
He's
the
about
rake
to.
and
He's
shit.
about to kill like
Actually,
the
that's a
couple.
good-
So
No,
Wait.
rake is. I mean, they're like in between of a fighting. Like you see people fighting, and then someone is attacking, someone is rake. Of course, you have to de-escalate the situation. You shoot his hand, his leg, or anything. you shoot like 3 times to make sure he's dead. Like you could have shot like one shot anyway, and he's like falling down. Okay, done. No, like 2 more shots to make sure he's dead.
But if they shot him in the foot, he'd still hold on to that rake, which can kill so many
Okay,
people.
Yeah. But also, like, I think it's okay. It's okay that he dies in the end, right? Like,
Weapon of mass destruction.
they know the story. She's explained that, she's explained the rapes and everything as well. So, and he has a criminal offense. So he's also
And he's a DJ.
right. Yeah. So worthy
So,
of
like, nobody gives a fuck.
like Moonlight will find another DJ. It'll be fine.
They already have
Like, nobody cares.
But yeah, that's the end of the
He
movie.
really wants that DJ gig at Moonlight. The police officer really wants it. This Sonny was his competition. Now, at the end credits, you see, like, the police officer's DJing at Moonlight. And he's super happy.
Oh, jeez.
So stupid.
That was a plot.
That's the plot. Yeah, that's it. That was the end. They drive home very silently, like the end of a horror movie. Like they just survived an ordeal, and that's murder for you.
Oh, before that, the police congratulates Sudhir and Simran on
the
being able to sustain their marriage and discovering this newfound love, and wishes them a good, happy life together.
I rolled my eyes when he said that. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
The police is like, yeah, like, hey, you guys love each other. Like, you're married, so you really can't leave this. Like, you're bound, so just enjoy your new marriage. Just don't worry about it. No trauma. Like, they really, like, send them off. Like, again, the movie is very forgiving to her. They don't paint her in any bad light. They totally forgive her. And then the guy kind of redeems himself. He admits his mistakes and, like, tries to put more effort into the relationship. He's not, like, expecting her to, like, love him without him doing anything.
Right.
And yeah, she has a lot of agency, and the police officer, says, hey, you're okay too. Like, we don't care. And, that's a pretty solid message. If you're going to cheat, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
You cheat to make your marriage stronger.
That is a takeaway message, huh? This did
Yeah.
help them find love.
When you
with
excite
each
your
other.
marriage with cheating and intrigue and, like, close, like, near death by rake, like, it just brings you guys closer together. It's a big kink thing.
Jesus.
Yeah. So and then I find out that like Murder is actually part of like a trilogy of films.
Mhm.
There's a second Murder with the same actor, but he
Yeah.
plays a different character.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. Do you know anything about that, Khilli?
I know they have come up with Murder 2 and Murder 3 or some
That's
stuff
right.
like that, but I've never watched them. I think maybe Murder 2, like Sunny is like, like lives again or something. Oh, I think it's a totally different story.
Yeah.
It's just the common theme of it, I
Right.
guess.
And I think he didn't come back for Murder 3, but they're apparently making Murder 4 now, and he's going to return for that.
Ooh,
movie.
I think Sunny should return. Like
Yeah,
the
Sunny will
3
be there.
bullets are not enough. Like, okay, fuck this police's guns and everything. Like, why he has to die?
He wants that DJ spot back, so he's gonna kill the police officer to get back that Moonlight gig, that sweet Moonlight gig.
That he could afford a fucking. That's
Murder
such a
2
big
and 3 is
house.
all about everyone just trying to get this Moonlight gig. Should we do the fear stare scale?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the staircase moment, I don't know about you guys, but mine was when the guy rams the wall on his motorcycle in that song, if you guys remember.
Yeah, it was just abrupt. Like someone crashed in that musical number, and then they look back,
so
and then it just
funny.
cuts to another scene,
It's
and they never talk about it.
Funny, so they're doing like a montage about them being together. Sonny and fuck.
Simran.
Thank you. Sonny and Simran. And they're like, this was them during college, right? And they're living like a fast and furious lifestyle. Like, he's
Yeah.
on a motorcycle and they're doing all these races together. And they're doing this one race with this other guy. And it ends like when they approach a wall with a very narrow hall and only Sonny goes through. And the other guy just slams into the wall and dies instantly. And they just kind of move on.
But I like so the guy was like showing some wheelie and like motorcycle stunt, and Simran was like cheering for him, so that irritates Sunny that like Simran is cheering for another guy, so he becomes jealous and starts to like ram his motorcycle, and then somehow there is no conversation. The guy who was doing that, they know the drill, like this means like this race that ends with a hallway like with one door and one person dies. Like he just instantly goes into the race mode, and then like, okay, this is the thing that they have been doing
like someone always dies in one of these races. It's
Death race.
it was psycho.
Not someone always dies. Someone definitely sometimes die.
And I guess another big fear of stairs moment is when Sunny comes back to life, right? Because
That
we all think he's dead.
That is my
Yeah,
fear of stairs
yeah.
moment when we realize he's alive. It's like a very Bollywood-esque twist for me.
And I really didn't see that coming because at that point it felt like there was enough plot. Like it had already peaked and it was about to like come down, and all of a sudden it's like whoop, another peak, another plot twist.
I did
So-
feel like Sudhir going to jail would have been like an ending.
yeah,
An
exactly.
appropriate ending.
I think that's where the French film ends. As far I read the synopsis of the unfaithful wife plot synopsis. Yeah, that's where the film ends, where Sudhir goes to jail, and that's then the Bollywood starts.
That makes so
It kind
much
of
sense.
makes sense, right? Because it kind of makes sense and everything like flows well up till then, and then you see like a bit of like Bollywood craziness coming in, like that masala twist that doesn't really make sense. It's like confusing.
When that happened, I like paused the movie. Like, what time is it? Like, I thought the movie was done. I'm like, why is there an hour more of this shit?
So basically, when they try to add some originality, that's when things go haywire.
They're like, he comes back from the dead, I guess. Like, where do we take it from there? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, yeah, the coming back from the
Yeah.
dead thing is the Indian thing.
Yeah, that's just like you take like a French food and put some garam masala on top
Yeah,
of it to make it
exactly.
Indian.
Oh, now I'm hungry.
Yeah. So I would say I give it like a 4 out of 5 for that. Fear of stairs.
There's a couple shocking moments that I
Yeah.
just genuinely didn't see coming. Dance floor clause.
I mean, it does serve the plot in a way, right?
Yeah.
We get to see moments where, like, you know, Sunny and Simran's relationship blossoms, and there was even like this really cool. I don't know how to explain it, like salsa music. I don't know what it's like. It's like when Simran and Sudhir attend this like business dinner, and then they have like this really nice tango-y dance. You guys
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah.
Mm.
It's a tango type
it's a
thing.
tango
Yeah.
type thing. I thought that was kind of cool, and there's a lot of tension between like, you know, jealousy and being unfaithful. I don't know. I think it does serve the plot.
You guys said the songs were super popular, right?
Yes, this album was one of the
Yeah.
highest selling of the year. Well, Khilli.
The Kaho Na Kaho song, the first song that where they show the romance of Sunny and Simran in the university time, that's kind of taken from an Arabic song. Like it has the Arabic part in it. That's my most favorite song in this, and that became really popular. And then there was another one, Bhige Hot Tere, like when they are like again rejuvenating their romance in Bangkok, like where they're like having sex all over the place. Yeah, that song got also popular.
I did not like the music at all in this movie. I thought it was
Okay.
so boring.
It was kind of catchy. but-
Yeah,
Our
I liked it.
our scale was for dance numbers. To be honest, there is not much dance number.
Yeah.
Only where
no
Sunny
dancing.
grinds against Simran while leaving his DJ desk during the DJing. Like he leaves his DJ desk, the DJ console, goes on the dance floor and starts grinding on his girlfriend. I think that's how DJ does.
And
Yeah.
the
Like, you
tractor
can-
shakes a little bit when it drops the body. And that's like a robot dance, I guess.
But yeah, there's not too much dancing. I think the music kind of drives the plot forward. You see like snippets of their relationship and rendezvous adventures. But yeah,
Family Feud factor.
well,
Ooh.
absolutely. This whole movie is
Ooh.
pretty much a domestic issue, right?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
very weird, incestuous stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like you're sleeping with your sister's husband and taking care of your sister's kid, and then sleeping with your college boyfriend who went to jail for killing a guy.
But I do like that this movie kind of explores family dynamics in a very like nuclear individual family sense. You don't have the in-laws and
Yeah,
the
that's
relatives and the parents that comes with so many Bollywood films we
I
watch.
think that's where the like Bangkok comes into
Right,
play.
Yeah,
right,
they had to
exactly.
get out of India.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, even in different city of India wouldn't fail far enough.
It's actually really interesting. So, like, if they're gonna take the French story, they're like, we cannot do this in India because there'd be too many in-laws to deal with. So they would have to change the story too much. So they just have to literally move out of India so they can
Yeah.
do that story and
Yeah.
have it make sense to anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
adaptation.
Now this is kind of the first time I think we'll ever go to Nicky for this, but regional heat check. Well, how did they get the region of Bangkok or Indians in Bangkok?
Well-
Actually, wait, sorry, I don't know. Yeah, you too. Sorry,
What's the regional heat check?
just if they got Bangkok right.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say that there was we did mention it a little bit, but there were like oh, I have to go to meet a friend within the city, but then the next shot is like a beach. I don't, and then like I'm pretty sure, I'm definitely like 80-90% sure that where Sunny was living, that's a paria walking street. That has to be like, it's not accurate, but again, I don't think anything of that really matters.
They
maybe?
do the same weird geography stuff in The Hangover too.
Yeah.
Sure,
Like
yes,
like
yes.
where they go from like one tower to like a boat, which isn't
Yeah.
really possible.
But at least they depicted Bangkok as a normal city. It looks like, what real Bangkok does. There's no yellow filter like there was in Hangover. They're not going to the slum areas
It's true.
intentionally to show like the poverty sides of Bangkok. It's a balanced. You see the sky trains, the really nice skyline he has from his office. Like
Yeah.
The BTS trains, you
Right.
see the taxi with their taxi
Yeah.
sign.
For like an erotic thriller, they don't show any of like the things Thailand is known for, like erotic wise. Like they don't show
Right,
Walking
right.
Street or Soy Cowboy or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So that's why it doesn't serve like a direct implication on the plot line. I think it's just to show that they're away from India, like Khilli
Yeah.
said.
When I
And-
first like heard that it was like an erotic thriller set in Bangkok, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like they need to be in Thailand because it's like sexier and there's like more nudity. No, you don't see any like Thai girls. There's no nudity. They literally just did to get rid of the family.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they don't use any of like the Thai like open
Ser-
sexual
Yeah.
stuff.
And then another thing that I found funny was that the private investigator called Sudhir to meet up with him, and he said that let's meet at Kings Park Street. And I'm like,
Kings Park Street.
what is that? I don't
That's an
think
Indian
I didn't
name for a
catch
street
that.
for
that is
sure.
that is not in Bangkok.
No,
I even googled it. Is it something in 2004 that kind of like gets phased out by now? And I was like, no, there is no such thing.
No, they're just like Thailand has a royal family. All right, we'll call it Kings Park Street.
Kings Park Street.
Where were they sitting? They were sitting somewhere near the palace
There
area,
was,
right?
yes, they were like driving. He was like Sunny was like driving the motorbike, and then you see like a shot of the palace.
You see
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, right. It was not the private investigator.
Yeah, they
meeting.
do
No,
show
no.
quite a bit of scenes in Bangkok. They show Democracy Monument as well.
yes.
And the
Yeah.
couple rooftops they're on.
Right, right.
Fucking.
Dunmuang Airport.
Mhm.
One. Yeah, it's
What's
pretty
the moral of the movie?
Cheating is bad.
No, like cheating helps saving marriage.
That's what I think it was. Yeah. Was that like actually setting up elaborate role playing games makes you closer with your partner?
Well, yeah, I'd say the takeaway is just, be mindful of the men you go with. Sometimes it seems fun on the surface. And like, if you're bored in life, yeah, like that's a tempting, shiny new thing, but it comes with consequences. So, but the moment you see a red
Pretty
flag,
Like,
if you
So
see a red flag, turn
are there any red
around.
flags that you noticed in Sunny, Winnie, that would kind of make you,
Let's just say, I think this was a timely watch, so thank you, Khilli, for suggesting this film. I have applied it to my personal life, and yeah, hopefully I'll be better off for it. Women should watch
obsessive
this.
would be the right word. Like
Yeah.
not passionate. Like
No, at
that's the
first it
difference.
seems passionate, and then you realize it's a very thin line between passionate and
Oh,
obsessive, right? So
wow.
like,
That's
walk
cool.
that
I
carefully.
think if anyone's obsessed with you after barely talking to you, that's a pretty big red flag in this movie. I'm not talking about anything else.
Okay. But yes.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah.
yep.
I love this movie. I mean, like, I'll say that. Sorry, this is my final reason I really like this movie is because when you tell me like we're gonna watch like an Indian erotic thriller set in Bangkok, I'm really expecting shit. And like the IMDb score was really low. I was like, whatever. But like honestly, like, and maybe because it was based off other movies, but it is well written. Like the story is constructed well, and there is like. Compared to movies now, like I did think the structure and the story and the writing was good, and yeah, like I do like that she's not like a whore in this, like they don't treat her like that,
Yeah.
and so I was like, this is like a 10 out of 10 for me, and compared to like my scale of what I was expecting, which was just a very misogynistic kind of like shitty thing. This was a pretty good kind of pulpy detective fiction. I liked it.
Yeah, when you put it that way, I understand it, but I was disappointed there were no boobs. And
Well,
That's
yeah,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying
so
to me.
right. I mean, if there were boobs and it was a really horrible misogynistic story, I mean, yeah, I would have loved it more, but it wasn't. So you take what you can get.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very interesting movie. Like it made me feel uncomfortable, to be honest, but I enjoyed it. It was a easy watch. I think you guys are like not happy about the fact that she's not really held accountable for cheating, but I do think that is quite progressive for Bollywood at the time as well, because usually women don't really do much wrong, but they're still painted in such a negative light anyway.
Yes.
So it's nice that she was able to kind of have this infidelity, but she was not shamed upon. It was not like the not the main point of the movie. It was like also there was enough context, actions from the guys to kind of take the weight off of that alone, so people don't just vilify her, but also understand the context. And I think that is probably progressive for that time, and they
It still is now.
Yeah,
Right.
I really liked it when her husband was gonna go to jail and he told her it's not her fault.
right, and then you see a big redemption arc, character growth there.
It's a very good scene. I love it, but still no boobs, so 0 out of 10.
Bye.
Bye.